You come from your farm in dry California, have some water first. Yeah, this is much more than what we have, actually. Is it full enough for you? Yes, it's okay. Usually. Well, it's half full, right? Or I see half empty. Well, okay. There's something in it, don't you think so? Yes, of course there's something in it. And we just heard it. Lots is being done, but not enough. Far not. Well, this is exactly what I want to talk to you about. What have we achieved? And what is in the glass already? And what still needs to be done? For all the time that we and also many of you have engaged ourselves to improve our production and to live sustainably, it's not only about food, it's also about living a sustainable life, then of course we have achieved quite a lot. However, do say something positive first. What actually do we have achieved so far? Well, I think that we have heard that people start talking about change of lifestyle, change of food systems and how you eat and use nutrition for a good health to be able to live a more sustainable life. At least discussion has been arisen, and that's the problem. Lots is being said, but we have to do many more things. As I said, it's half empty, the glass. And what do you think? What does it, why don't we have a glass which is more than just half empty or half full? I think the reason is that for us as human beings, it's very difficult to change habits, to change our mind, our ways, how we think and see things. And to go beyond that, we need some radical transformation of our ways of thinking. And it was said, it's clear we can't have business as usual. We can't go on like this. And we can speak on the one hand side about us. It's easy to reduce here, but think about the rest of the world that needs much more. We have to reduce much more, in particular consumption, in waste of household gear, in waste of meat, and so on. It can't go on like this. We have enough figures showing and proving the fact that we have to cut down meat consumption. Otherwise, crises are just going to go on. Yes, you can become very depressed because Stephanie has said, let's not resignate, just be there and go on. Where do you think are the best leverages to continue? I think the best tool of leverages is still your own situation in your own pocket. How much money do you have at hand? Because at the end of the day, it's actually that what makes the difference. What is going to be bought? So when things are no longer bought, production will end sooner or later. It always depends for a salesperson how much he or she can sell. And if the sales don't go on successfully, it'll be changed. So that's the best piece of leverage. So it's not just the market situation. I just add the water in your glass. Yes, that would make something. So Biovision works a lot with research, with experimentation. Yes, that's the right way. We have more scientific research, that's true. Also in the ways and means of how could it be possible to have a real cost transparency and how could we introduce a costing system. This is exactly what we talked about. If we want to have the right price for our good products, and we have to include the external costs, only then the mathematics are correct, because then the bananas that Migros is selling will be much more costly, and maybe the others less or even at a reduced cost. And that was already touched upon already. About a political issue here. If I think of all the subsidies that go into agriculture, that's where we have to do something immediately. And it's possible if we can do it, because the farmers receive the money anyways. And we have to see that we don't promote climate change, that we damage our health and so on. I thought to myself when I was listening to the discussion, and I ask myself, is it not clear for the people that when you buy a conventional product where the state actually is responsible, that it's healthy, and it does not look at it whether it's not healthy? For example, if it's full of chemical remnants, or if a product has been grown in soil which has no nutrients anymore. And we do know from research that they just add more water and less nutrients. Do the people know this fact? And maybe if they knew, they would probably also reach out into the basket with the organic vegetables instead of the conventional production. The whole story about the external costs is, of course, also to be applied in the health sector, not only in the agrarian sector. And here, of course, we can ask ourselves whether our Minister for Health could say we need more organic farming and less chemicals, because they can no longer come up with paying the bills. You have received an award for your political commitment, but also for what you have done in agriculture. So what do you see? What can we do more here in Switzerland with the people? Again, subsidies, change that. That has a huge leverage in Swiss society. And also the state has to be much more careful what's going to be sold. It has to be tested more. And we know that herbicides that are used here are promoting cancer. We know that all, but it's not prohibited. Why not? Because chemical industry exerts pressure on our decision makers. We know that all. We should say no, we no longer want that. This is why we should buy organically grown stuff and not the conventional stuff. But of course it's difficult to choose another product, not the discounted poultry or piece of chicken. And less waste, eat less, and quality above quantity. That is the ultimate saying. Yes, now you can fill it all up. No, not yet. Sorry, not yet. Well, we need the framework conditions, but you probably heard that as well. California voted on pesticides. That was a war. The urban areas against the rural areas. They were in complete dispute. It was a total polarization. How do you deal with such a problem? I think it's a pure scandal that in a country such as Switzerland that can afford itself to think about better production in quality, and that we have not voted for it. Of course, the last popular referendum could have been worded in a better way, but just look who was against it. Probably somebody has already investigated it, but what were the arguments against? Okay, we have less or not enough food. I'm sorry. Or it's going to be too expensive. We heard that already. Well, how little do we still spend for food? So for me, it's a total craze. And we have to learn how to work better with media and how do we inform the public in a much open and transparent way. But of course, we don't have that much money as the people in Basel from the pharmaceutical companies who continue to exert pressure even on our government and on our decision makers. I experienced that myself, how it functions. And also in the rest of the European countries, as well as in the United States, where the decision makers are just bombed much too much from all sides, from all special friends and messengers, and trying to threaten the people. Yes, there's more hunger in the world. Yes, but this is another example showing that the system we have today is no longer able to go over and survive a pandemic. It can't be that in some parts of the world there's not enough food just because of this pandemic. Well, because we have globalized instead of localized the production. It would not have happened if we had a localized way of economy. Oh, again, we are short of time. I have to come to an end. Okay, now you can fill the glass. Yes, if we do this all, I think we get the glass quite full. So let's cheer to this joint work and commitment. And thank you very much. Yes, I toast to all of you. And goodbye. Take care and stay safe.